And we're live. Hello, this is Melinda from Hope When There Was None. I'm coming on with my special guest, Nicola, today, and she's going to dive into her. What do you got? You've got a mixed bag of talents and wonderful advice, I know, for the people that are going to be watching. And speaking of which, if you're interested in any of her information, her what she does more, you want to deep dive in, there are links, of course, that will be streaming down here, but also in the comments section, you can find those. So you don't have to frantically write them down. You can just go ahead and click on those. So I'm going to let you take it away. Go ahead, hon.
Oh, thanks, Melinda. Yeah, so hi, I'm Nicola Mercer and I'm from the UK. I'm from a place on the northeast coast near Newcastle, and I'm a health and wellness coach. So, as you can see on the bottom of the screen there, my business is called Life Now Coaching, and I've set the business up about 7 months ago following a very long corporate career. I was made redundant actually a year ago today. So, March 31st last year, I was made redundant and was quite stuck with what I did next. And I think, like a lot of people coming through the pandemic, it really made you reflect on where you were in life and yeah, just how life is and how fragile it can be. And that led me to feeling as though I really wanted to do something that was right for me and aligned to my purpose and would give me a lot more passion than I had in the job I was doing. I loved the job I did, but I wasn't really truly passion led, I would
Mm.
say, in that role. So, yeah, I decided to go down the road of becoming a coach and wanted to specialize in helping people, especially women, to help move their bodies every day, to stay active, to understand how being active contributes to an overall healthy lifestyle and happiness above anything else. And so that led me to call the business Life Now, because it's all about life now. And I really want to help people understand that even when you are making changes in your life and you're trying to improve things, and there's nothing wrong with wanting something different, but that you have to feel happy right now. So it's looking at how can you put habits in place to really make sure that you are living a happy life now, and that's going to continue, because we all know happiness isn't something you get
Mm.
and it's ticked and then you've got it forever. It's something that comes and goes, and the level of happiness will change. So yeah, that's kind of how the business evolved, and where I'm at with the business right now.
Oh, and I love that. And I'm sorry, I'm just like, I can listen to you talk all day, and I'm sure you get that a lot.
Well, is it the accent?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm sure you get that pretty often. Yes.
Yeah, I think obviously it's such a different accent to what a lot of US people think us British people talk like. Obviously, we've got so many dialects and accents the same way that you guys do across such a vast area.
And I hear that too. I've had a few people that I've done podcasts with, and they're like, "Can you talk a little more for me?"
Yeah.
And I don't think, of course, I don't think I have an accent. But anyway, regardless of that, now what you said about feeling that you were stuck.
Mm.
And many of the people here that are watching, men and women, are out of an abusive relationship. And so they have that feeling of stuckness. And I'm sure they can
Mhm.
relate to that. What are some tips maybe you can give to somebody that's not necessarily an abusive situation, but they're feeling stuck? What is
Mm.
it that you do with them? Are there some sort of exercises that they can do or?
Yeah, definitely. I've got a signature system that's called Well, and it's spelled WHEL. And the W is the why. And I think for anyone who is feeling stuck, this is where you have to start, because you need to know what that vision is of where you want to get to, and perhaps who you want to be if you really want to change how you feel and live your life. And so it's really tapping into a lot of why questions about, why do you want to change?
Mhm.
Why are you not happy now? What is it about that is not in alignment with how you want to feel and how you want to live your life? Why would changing make a difference to you? Why would it make a difference to those around you? Why does that matter to you? So lots of why questions, but really getting deep about why it's important for you to not be where you are right now and feeling how you are right now. Because once you have worked through that and really brainstormed and just, threw everything into it, you can then really connect with why it's important to move from that situation where you feel stuck now.
Mhm.
And, you know, someone in an abusive relationship, it is just such a difficult situation to be in, obviously from an emotional, psychological point of view, and physical as well. But there's a lot of practical elements that go into being in a partnership with somebody that don't disappear just because it's a dangerous situation to be in physically. And that can make you feel really trapped as well, if financially there's commitments and ties together and so on.
Right.
So I think it really, really helps to connect with why you want to change and why that matters and why it's going to make a difference, to give you that strength to be able to start to then look
Mhm.
at what are those small steps that you can take. And I really do focus on it being small steps and actions, because again, in that example, somebody looks right ahead and goes, "Oh my God, I just can't leave. How do I leave?
Right.
We've got a mortgage, or we've got kids, or we've got bills, or the family's going to judge me, or I might lose my job, whatever it might be." You just see everything, and instead it's about really knowing, okay, this is important to me because I want my life to be like this. What is the first thing that I can do? It's not the full big picture, because that just, whatever it is, if somebody wants to lose weight, if they want to start to get fit, if they want to stop smoking, everything looks so big when you go, "Oh my God, I've got to go from here to here," 200 miles
Right.
an hour. But when you break it down, go, what one thing could I do today that is starting me on that path to making that my reality? Then it becomes much more manageable. And once you know that you are taking those little steps, and you're reflecting on the fact you're taking them, and you're acknowledging the progress you're making, even if it's just really small progress. Say smoking, somebody smokes, I don't know, 10 cigarettes a day, and for a week they've smoked 9 a day. That's an achievement, that's progress. And it's important to let yourself know that, because that's what's going to keep your brain focused to keep going with the other small steps you want to add on next.
Oh, and that make you make it sound so easy, but I mean, for me, I mean, I shouldn't say so easy. That seems more manageable. It seems like it
Mm,
wouldn't be as overwhelming if I just take small bites, and I'm all about baby steps. So
yeah.
it's very it's less overwhelming, and it's less because sometimes when we go, especially with New Year's resolutions, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just dive into it. We're just going to stop
Mhm.
eating that sugar right then and there, or stop smoking right then and there. I like how you say that. If you're
Mm,
smoking 10 cigarettes, then you only doing 9 that week.
mm,
That's baby steps. I like that. I do.
mhm.
That makes it sound a lot more easier, something that's more attainable. Let's just say that you can do.
Yeah, and that's because anything that someone changes, they want it to be a lasting change. And
Right.
I'm sure everyone listening has been through something where they think they've changed it, whether it's days, a few weeks, and then before they know it, they've just slipped back into bad habits. And there's lots of obviously psychology that mean it's much more comfortable and easy to stick with the habits we already know, even if they're not
Right.
good for us. So, to make it something that's going to last and be sustainable, that becomes who you are in your lifestyle, then you do have to do it gradually, because a big part of making it lasting is training your brain to know that this is the right thing, that you are rewarding yourself in whatever way that is for cutting down to those 9 that week, even if the reward is just the verbal acknowledgement and, yes, you've done great this week. Your brain's going to feed on that and want more of that next
Right.
week. And that is it's all about the consistency and acknowledging the progress, because that's what gives momentum to make and change, whatever change that is, if it's in a work environment, personal environment.
Oh, yeah, and I like that too because that makes you feel good. That really does,
Yeah.
and that reward that you give to yourself, that high
Mm.
five, and yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a good mindset to have. That really is, just to take those small steps and reward yourself for the small accomplishments that you make.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, now, so on typically, what is, or maybe untypically, how long does it take to make those? You come up with your whys and to to go through, like, with your program as an example? Is
Mm.
it like, because change doesn't happen overnight,
Mm.
even though sometimes we like it to. What's a typical well, let's say, I guess it would depend on the person too, but is like a few months, years?
Yeah, I, I think it really depends. I mean, the why, that's something that you could do in a couple of hours easy with a pen and paper. Do you know, is just to sit down and like I'll have a workbook that I would give a client when they're at that point to do, and easily within a couple of hours. Some people might struggle more because it could be something they haven't really thought about. A lot of people are very caught up in the cycle of life and just do what they're doing and
Right.
don't they know that's not what they want and it's not making them happy, but they don't really think about why and what it is they want to be like. So it will be a little bit harder for some, but it is quite an easy, quick win to do. And then in terms of the change, yeah, it depends on what someone wants, because you could have someone that is in, an unhappy relationship, is in financial difficulty, the health's really impacted by that, and the
Mhm,
things that need to happen, because obviously I'm all about the healthy, well lifestyle. If the things that need to happen to help them be healthy could be things that are going to take time, but with it depends how long they want to work with me for. You
mhm.
probably the minimum I would say is 6 sessions, which at best probably over a 3 month period. But you could have someone who wants to lose weight and that's their only focus, and that could be something that they want to work on for 6 months, and then it's going to be ongoing, but they might not need to work side by side with me.
Mhm.
So it does really vary on, yeah, the degree of change. And a lot of people want to change a lot of things, and in health a lot of things impact your health. So
Right.
I focus, as an example, I have 5 pillars of wellness that I talk about, which are nutrition, movement, sleep, stress, and mindset. And that's because they are the main things that really do impact a person's health. Sleep is an ultimate thing that people have to focus on, have to get
Right.
right, not just for your health now, but for as you age, because there's so much research now that's proven sleep is one of the biggest contributors to disease and illnesses, including things like dementia and Alzheimer's and
Really?
cancers. Yeah, so
Wow.
sleep is going to become a much more in focus topic over the next even few years. I mean, there's a lot of really big research being done on sleep, and a lot of people who, for example, want to lose weight can be eating a great diet, but because they're stressed or they're not having enough sleep and their mindset's in a bad place, they're just struggling to lose the weight that they want to lose, because the body is a machine. Everything needs to work in motion with everything else. So, a lot of people have a lot of things they want to change. And part of what I do, and which can sometimes be enough, is just clarifying what are the priorities.
Mhm.
Do you know what is it that's going to make the most difference to begin with? Because quite often, if someone can fix one of those pieces of the cog, if you like, then everything else can benefit. It's that
Right.
ripple effect. That
Right.
if you could manage your stress differently, then your sleep would improve, your mood would improve, so your mindset becomes more positive, you'd feel more happier. Then you might want to invest in yourself by moving your body more with exercise, and then eating the right food because you're exercising and because you like the way you feel and you're getting stronger. So can you see everything
Yep.
literally impacts everything else? And yeah, so it depends if someone's just more about, okay, I need to know what to focus on and how I get started, or is it about a specific area that I really want to dive into, like sleep or nutrition or movement, and then just going from there.
Oh, wow. And you just said something that's resonating with me right now. I have a weight issue, and I've been focusing on eating better. I've been doing like a
Hmm.
keto and a juicing, especially over the past week. And I noticed now that you mention it, the days that I only sleep, maybe there was one day I got an hour of sleep. And
Wow.
then there was a day that I had maybe 4 hours of sleep, but I noticed the scale either didn't
Mm,
budge or it went higher, even though I was doing good.
mm,
But now that you mentioned the days that I got 6 to 8, well, usually six at least, I maybe a pound or 2 would be
mm,
gone. So, that's very interesting. I
mm.
didn't even think about it until you mentioned that. Hmm.
Yeah, and the sleep affects a lot of things with your blood sugar levels as well, and the insulin, so that it can really kind of make your appetite fluctuate and your need for certain types of food and how your body digests because it's running on fumes rather than gas. It's because of the lack of sleep. So there's so much that it does to how your body digests and also how you suddenly need that extra intake of energy through more food. It's proven that tiredness makes people crave sugar and carbohydrates. That's a fact. So yeah, there's so many things that
Oh,
it does impact, but it's an interesting one to think about. An hour a night, and it just one thing to add on sleep as well, which is I think is a really good thing people don't often think about. Sleep isn't like a bank account where you can get extra hours on some nights and you've saved them up so that it gives you the interest for the nights when you have an hour or 4 hours. If you've lost that sleep, you've lost it. Your body will never gain back what it's lost. And with sleep, everything's regenerating as you sleep. And that's your brain literally does what it needs to do while you're asleep to then be able to function well. So yeah,
wow.
definitely have a bit of a look at those nights where you can extend between or above the 1 and 4 hour periods.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Mm,
Yeah, because I know our body does repair itself while it sleeps,
mhm,
but, I'm
mhm.
also going through the change of life, so,
Yeah,
yeah, just
I'm running up to that too, and that for a lot of women, that can be a huge thing that impacts them because a lot of women, even through perimenopause, which can be 10 years for some women, they start to become insomniacs and actually struggle to sleep as much as they want and need to sleep.
right.
Yeah, so that's one I focus on, like hormones as well, in a group program that I've got. That's going to be something we touch on because it will just be for women. um because yeah, it's really important for women to be aware of these things that happen at different stages of their life.
Ooh, I might be interested in that group
Yeah.
for sure. Definitely. Wow, you hit on a lot of awesome things there.
Mm.
So tell me about we have all these different links down here,
Mm.
so what are they? Like the one I have right now is your Facebook group?
Mhm. Yeah, that's the Facebook page. That's where I'm posting most days, and you'll get some
Okay.
inspiration, motivation. This week, I'm talking all about fueling your body the
Mhm.
right way, and what you put in there. A bit like a car, it needs its oil, its water, its petrol or diesel or fuel. You need the tires pumped right, and it's the same with your body. So thinking really when you are putting food and water into your body about what you're putting in there. So you get lots of tips on there.
Neat.
And yeah, Life Now Coaching, I'm on Instagram as well. I do have a Facebook group
There's
which is called
Instagram.
Happy Strong Women. And yeah, that's a little bit more like the after party, if you like. That's a bit more informal and fun, and again doing little challenges and things to try and help people start building some new habits.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, it's just really about giving value to those who can't afford to work with me as a coach, but
Mhm.
also trying to get people started on that journey so they do see the difference it can make if in that when they're in a situation where they do want support, then they've already built that relationship with me to be able to take it to that next step.
Oh, nice, and I don't think I have the link for that one, but, do I? I don't think so. I might have to
I
get
think
that from you a little bit later.
yeah, I think it has been popping up. I do have a free guide which has
Okay.
been
Oh,
popping up.
yes, it's
Yeah, and
ta-da!
that's it. Yep. So making time for you, and you can connect to the group through that as well, and
Oh,
join it if you'd like to.
awesome. So what is the guide? What does that entail?
Yeah, so it's got 5 tips in there about making time for you, because one of the things that I hear all of the time when especially women, when they talk about how they feel and how rubbish they feel and how they're fed up with being tired and run down and eating crap and all the rest of it, they'll say,
Mhm.
yeah, but I don't have any time to change,
Mm,
it's too hard.
right.
So that's the starting point, because a lot of women especially get stuck with that. And this has just got 5 tips in there to just look at how you could maybe start making some time, because we all have the same 24 hours, but we
Yes, we
all
do.
have different things in our life. We're going to prioritize things differently. And that's what it comes down to. A lot of people, you'll see them posting, oh, I watched this box set on Netflix in 2 days. Well, funny that's a priority for them, you know. So it is about getting people to reflect on their use of time, and also a bit of it's about, yeah, when you are doing things, can you do them in a different way? So it's not about inventing or creating time as such, but what could you do? Like, say you work somewhere where you regularly have meetings on Zoom.
Mhm.
Could you take that meeting outside with your headphones in? And there's so many people do that now. When I used to work at Nike, that was quite common practice for people to be outside, you know, not on the video, but just still, you know, walking around outside. So yeah, it's just giving people little ideas of where they could maybe get those opportunities to start to create healthy habits.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because I know I'm all about self-care, and I do hear
Mhm,
that as an excuse that I don't have time, but yet,
mhm.
hey, you're taking that Netflix and you're binging on that, yes, or you're scrolling on the internet forever.
Mm,
Yes, yeah, so there is time. Like you said, just make small
mm,
changes. You can find it. Definitely. Definitely.
yeah. Mhm.
And I have your
Oh,
website here too, but go ahead. I didn't mean to
mhm.
interrupt.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and the why, keep coming back to that why, because that is what makes the difference. You know, it's so easy to go, oh, I'm exhausted. I've had a long day. I want to chill on the sofa and watch Netflix. But if you've got this vision of you as a healthy person, even if that vision is out 40 years, that you're like, you know, when I'm older, I still want to be mobile. I want to be able to go out when my children have their own children and enjoy their company,
Mm,
and I want to travel, or have a hobby of gardening or rowing or whatever it might be. If you've got that vision, and then when you're feeling that way, you go, actually, yeah, but maybe if I just do a 15-minute walk outside and then come back and watch something on the TV, that's going to help me be that person in 40 years' time. And that's why the why works, because it's the same, you know, if you want to save up, saying, oh, I'm going to save up for holiday, you probably won't save. You'll be, oh yeah, I meant to put some money away this month, but I forgot, and I needed that new dress. But if you know why you really want that holiday, you know, then it's like, no, no, because that is important. That's what's gonna, you know, get me what I want. That's aligned to where I'm trying to get myself.
Oh, I like that. I like that, figuring out your why. Wow. And that sounds like that would take, yeah, you mentioned that you can get it at least within an hour, your why. Yes.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it could change as well. It's something that's not necessarily fixed. You know, what where you are in your life now and what you think about in 2 years' time could become quite different. You know, someone might
Mm,
not have children now, and then in a few years' time it changes because they've got kids, and so their,
mhm.
you know, whole purpose shifts, and that's absolutely fine. It's just really being clear on why that change you want to make is so important to you, because that's what drives motivation.
Oh, definitely. And I know the whys and the wants and the wishes that I had when I was 18
Mm,
are entirely different than now I'm in my fabulous 50s. Yeah, it looks a lot different. It definitely does. Yeah, those hopes and dreams are,
mm,
yeah, those are different. And that, like you said, that changes with each stage of your life or whatever your situation's going
mm,
on. Yes. Yeah, like look at yourself there. You made that
mhm,
pivot and you made that change. And a lot of people did with coronavirus. Then
mm.
when that happened, a lot of people just changed, realizing, "Hey, I'm not happy where I'm at." And what did that look like for you to have that realization?
It was very, very empowering. I'd had a few things happen to me over the 2 years before, well, not even 2 years, a year and a half before I was made redundant. I
Mm.
lost my mum quite suddenly. She
Oh, I'm
passed
sorry.
away, and she was, yeah, thank you. And that really, really triggered a lot of thoughts in me that she'd had ill health and suffered for a while, but definitely not something that was expected, you know, to end her life. And that really got me thinking about my life and health and what I wanted to live like. And yeah, that set me on that kind of journey. And then when COVID happened and you started to see what, you know, tragedy was unfolding for so many
Right.
families, and how fast things changed in the world. And then I had quite a bad accident
Mm.
later that year and broke my wrist. And I had to have a metal plate put in and had it in a cast for a long time, and I couldn't
Oh, wow.
drive for about 10 weeks, and that was then kind of the next trigger that I thought, "Oh my god, this could have been so much worse. I could have broke my leg and not being able to walk properly again. I could have, had a head injury or something."
Mm,
And so then when the redundancy came about, at first it was fear, but then it was like, actually, maybe this is meant to be. Maybe this is what's going to push me, because I couldn't afford by choice to leave my job and set up a business. And so I never dreamed that I would set up a business. Being a coach was something I'd often thought I would like to do.
mhm,
So once I kind of positioned it after the initial shock of, actually, maybe, just maybe, this might be the best thing that's happened to me,
mhm,
because it's the only chance I'm going to get to invest in doing something that I actually want to do. And then the feeling was just unreal. I'd never felt anything like it. And the first thing I wanted to do was write, because I've always wanted to write. And so I thought, oh, I'm going to blog about the redundancy journey. I didn't know where you put a blog. I had no idea how
mhm.
to get it out there. And so I started to write, and I didn't do anything with it. I have then used it on my website when I set the business up. But it was just this feeling of, for the first time, thinking, I can actually choose where I go next. And yeah, there was pressure financially,
Mhm,
because I knew I had to do something to start earning money again.
mhm,
But it was just this realization of, the world is out there and it's an opportunity. And I really thrived from that feeling of empowerment. And I've since made other big changes in my life. I was in a marriage that was really struggling for quite a long time, and that marriage ended a few months ago.
oh,
I wouldn't have done that had I not been through the journey I've been through the last couple of years. But I finally had that why really clear, because I'd worked on it myself, when I first was made redundant. And that's something I've spoke to quite a lot of people about as I've been setting up the business and starting out with the coaching, is how valuable and empowering that first step really is.
mm,
It's like,
right,
say someone wants to sing and they're so nervous to get on the stage. They'll be guaranteed the first time they sing in public on a stage, their confidence is going to massively boost. Doesn't mean they won't be nervous the next time, but it'll be less nerves,
right.
and it'll build. And it's the same. And so that's why I just encourage people so much to not be scared of that first step. Because, like I said earlier, when you look at the big picture, when I looked at splitting up in my marriage and going, oh my God, who would live in the house? Would we sell the house? What would happen with my daughter? And when would she see her dad? And I don't want to share her. And I'm going to be on my own.
Oh,
And just
yeah.
everything that you think about. But then if you think of that, you're just going, oh God, no, I can't. I need to just stay. But then when you just go, okay, all I need to do is get through the day, because I know in the end, whether that's however far away, that my life will be the way I want it to be because of this decision. And that's obviously anything not specific to my situation with the marriage breaking up. When you see where you're going to get to, that's what does ground you and then make you think, just today, just this step. Even though, you might be really struggling emotionally
Mhm.
and practically as well, but you can see where you're going to and why you're going there, and why you're doing what you need to do today. So, yeah, I know it's quite a long answer, but the whole situation did catapult me into an opportunity that is just, yeah, given me the chance to design my life, hopefully the way that it can be for quite some time.
Oh, that's beautiful. And no, it's not long. I think you even had more passion as you came and you started speaking more. You could tell that drive was there and why you're doing it. That and I got goosebumps. I did.
Oh,
Oh, that's
well, that's nice.
beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're
It is
welcome.
tough. It is tough, but it's setting up a business is tough. I've worked more hours than I've ever worked, and I used to work a lot in corporate, but I don't care, because it's mine and it's my passion and it's what I want to do. And I know that it won't always be that way.
Oh, and you could tell you light up when you're just
Mm.
talking about it. Yes, you could tell it's something that you're very, very passionate about. Oh, that's wonderful. And yes, it is scary. It is, but
Mm.
you had that focus and you saw. So, you mean you're walking the walk that you're talking. You're not just
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, I'm a coach and everybody can contact me," but no, it's things that you've
Mm.
done that you've implemented in
Mhm.
order to be successful, and you're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah, and that's the story that I have, with why it's health and wellness as well, because I started suffering with severe anxiety and panic disorder when I was 19, and I'm just about to turn 46.
Mhm.
And when I started with that, there was no talk of mental health and anxiety. Those words just weren't in the vocabulary used. And so I've gone through a very, very long journey of managing that, of hiding it. And it's only been over the last kind of 8 months I've opened up about it.
Mhm.
And, because of that struggle I had with my mental health, I did kind of find my own path and carve my own path through building the right habits. And that is now what I'm replicating, because I know that, I was in a very busy job. I used to travel every week. I had a very, from having a baby, I did that kind of job. I ran the house, I was the main earner. I
Mhm.
was overweight. I didn't really exercise. I was never a sporty person. I had family, friends. I'm just normal, but
Right.
I've managed to live in a way that helped me to build a career, a family,
Right.
struggle with happiness, but understand how I could make myself happy. And that's what I advocate is, it's all about the balance and not stopping yourself from having things, doing things, but understanding what a big, balanced, healthy life looks like.
Alright, and then this is also a good thing for your daughter to learn, to see those positive
Yeah,
changes too. Wow, that's
absolutely. And
awesome.
that's a huge part of the mission I have,
Mhm.
because when I worked at Nike, part of what I did in the business was, on our kids' side of the business, around helping kids to make sport a daily habit. And with girls, especially, the dropout rate in sports is huge. Now, in the US, you're actually slightly better than most of the countries because you have such a focus on sport throughout your education system. And that definitely isn't the same in the UK and most of
Wow.
Europe. The college system you have for sport is incredible.
Yeah.
But even so, a lot of girls, as they're starting to hit puberty and mindset changes, they drop out of sport. And when you say sport, it doesn't have to be your typical football, soccer, tennis,
Right.
basketball. Sport can be anything: dance, skateboard, walking, cycling, things like that. And so I was really connected to still driving that mission, and that's what I want to do through my business, is help parents to put the right habits in place, because our kids learn through what they see.
Yes, they
That's
do.
absolute fact, isn't it?
Right.
And so if you can teach your kids that, going for a walk 3 times a week as a family is something that you just do and it's enjoyable, then they grow up with that
Right.
as a habit. And that's what it's all about. And definitely for girls, and my daughter, I want her to see me, coming through adversity and saying, okay, this is hard. Mum doesn't have a job that's paying any money. We can't do this and this, but I will get there. And I want you to be proud of me. And I want you to know that change happens. And, the S word, it happens in everyone's life.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for kids to see struggles at times and learn from it and know that that doesn't mean you love them any less and you're not any less, committed or happy as a family. It's just change, and that you can overcome it and come out the other side.
Oh, yeah, and that's
Mm,
something that I had to learn too, just to allow that, I don't wanna say my mommy facade, but
mm,
allow myself to appear I'm not super mom, and to let my kids know that, yeah, mommy makes mistakes, mommy has issues, mommy needs to apologize sometimes for maybe lashing out when I'm really
mm.
tense or in a very serious situation, that I don't always have the answers, and to let them see that, and this is my process for figuring out how to get to where I need to go, so just
Yeah.
teaching that. Yes.
Mhm. That's so important, because a big thing that a lot of people are starting to talk about now and realize is that in schools and
Mhm.
education, kids aren't taught about mindset and feelings and how to be happy. There's this, obviously, this whole commercialized society we live in, that kids have an expectation that they're just going to get something and they're going to be happy.
Right.
But it's obviously so much more complicated than that. So yeah, as a parent, to help your child understand the ups and downs of life, like in my situation, we've split up. Why we've split up? We've been so honest with her through the whole journey, because she needs to understand that sometimes these things do happen,
Right.
and that there is, like you said, there is a learning from it, and that we are just human, and we're all working through the same stuff, and our kids are going to have these kind of challenges in their future life as well, and the more we can teach them about change and resilience, the stronger they will be able to deal with those issues themselves.
Yes, definitely. Wow. Wow. And thank you for that. Thank you for that transparency and sharing your struggles there. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
that
wouldn't,
I am quite open.
I honestly, looking at you, I wouldn't have guessed anxiety, mental health issues. Oh,
Mhm.
it's like this lady's got it together. You know, and that's
Yeah, and
100% to a lot of
that's
people.
exactly, and that's why I hid it from people I'd worked with. Some of them I had known for 20 years when I was at Nike,
Mhm.
and I was embarrassed to tell them. I thought that it made me look like a freak, that I was, some kind of weirdo, had something. I was really ashamed and embarrassed of it. And
Mhm.
even when I started to talk about it, I still had those feelings. But I think, as you said, I need to walk the walk, and I want my clients to know that I'm not someone who finds it easy to eat all the perfect food, or, always feel 100% like, yes, I'm going to smash this workout, and, everything else. I'm not going to bed at 9 o'clock every night, laying on the pillow like an angel. It is a real world, but there's a way you can find balance and health. And, with mental health, what people see on the tin isn't what's going on inside, and that's the very, very crucial thing
Right.
people are starting to understand with mental health is someone can feel happy, they can be successful, they can have a great family and friends circle, but that doesn't mean that their mental health's good. And that comes from lots of reasons. Some obviously are medical, and linked to maybe specific illnesses that they do have contributing to that. But it is important that people are much more open about it, because for me, since I've started to open up, it's helped me manage the anxiety. I think hiding it and pretending I was perfect when really I was, literally falling apart inside,
Mm.
put even more pressure on me. Whereas if I'd been open and said, actually, do you know what? I don't think I can go on that stage and talk because I might have a breakdown. It's just not who I am. I think they probably would have gone, oh my God, I didn't know that, but okay, let's find another way to do this. But
Mhm.
I didn't dare. And so I made it even harder for myself. But
Oh.
once you do start opening up, then actually it's like anything, it breeds confidence, it breeds empowerment, all the other stuff. Then that's when, you actually have more of a handle on it.
Oh, that's wonderful. That really is. Thank you. Thank you for that and sharing. Thank you for sharing. I know I have a
That's all
daughter that
right.
deals with anxiety and
Mm,
depression, and yeah, that's been a struggle.
mm.
Try to help her and find her, get her to a point where she can be maybe someday on her own. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that,
Yes.
yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, because that's one of the things that really makes me sad, is when young girls are going through that, because I know how I felt, and it is a very, very lonely, scary place to be in. So
Mhm.
hopefully, you are giving her the support she needs, and
Mm.
whether that's only with you and other methods, and she can, build some strength from that.
Yes, thank you. We're working on it. We're working on it, but each little
Okay.
step, even the baby steps, like
Mhm.
I said, let's try some maybe tapping, or have you
Mm,
speak to a counselor. Well, that gives her anxiety. So
mm,
I usually back off, and of course my husband, his name is Terry, but we call him Mr. Awesome. He's like, you just need to push her, but I'm afraid if I push her, that might
mm.
make her retreat even worse. But anyway, regardless,
Yeah,
thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. I
you're
do.
welcome.
Wow. So we're going to go ahead and, on that note, end the broadcast. If anybody has any questions, by all means, give her some love, visit her links, join her groups. She's got those freebies for you. And thank you for being a guest today. You've really shared a lot of insightful information. Sleep for me. I wouldn't, I need to dive more into my sleep. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's been really, really good, and I've enjoyed just chatting, and hopefully, it's had some people to just, yeah, maybe think about taking that pause and getting connected to their why.
Yes, definitely. So thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Mwah. Stay safe. Bye bye.